Hello, and welcome to the Argyle Financial Controller Leadership Forum. My name is Brittany Sullivan with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. I have some important information to share with you, and then we will turn the floor over to our esteemed opening keynote speaker. First, we would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, SAP. Our sponsor is committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booth from the main agenda page, which includes complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. We would also love to hear from you. So during each session, we encourage you to submit your questions and comments in the Q&A box on your screen. Following each presentation, we have set aside time for our speakers to weigh in on your questions. Thank you again for joining us. Now let's get started. Without further delay, I would love to introduce our speaker, Diana Turkina, Global Financial Controller, Intercompany Governance and Transformation at PayPal. We're excited to have Diana with us for her opening keynote titled From Close to Continuous, Rethinking the Financial Close. Welcome, Diana, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here and appreciate the opportunity. Just a few words about me. My name is Diana. I've been finance controller for over than 15 years. My main focus was intercompany transfer pricing, geo-governance, and transformation. Right now, I'm fully dedicated to transformation. So that topic of optimizing close is pretty much near and dear to me. And my personal passion is continuous improvement. So thank you very much. And without further delay, I think we can move to the polling question. Let's see. So I think what we would love to hear from the audience is, how fast do you close? The reason why I would love to hear about it is, based on our public data, only 18% of companies actually close within 3-day window. So statistically, it's about as common as being left-handed. So really would love to see and to know how fast do you close. So yeah, if you close below 3-day, then congratulations, you are in this 18%. I think another good data set from public results is how fast our organizations were able to move the needle for close acceleration. For the decade between 2015 to 2024, many companies invested in closed software, but based on, again, public data, the average close improved only to 4/10 of a day. So in 2015, it used to be 6.4, and in 2024, it was just 6 days on average. It's the most expensive half day in finance history, because we continue to invest, we continue to see improvement, but improvement is not significant on the average. And lastly, even though this decade didn't move significantly, 2026 can move the needle a lot because of AI. Even though we were able to progress pretty slowly in average close speed, we see a lot of agentic improvement from the AI perspective. Again, based on public data, it used to be 7% just a year ago, and now it's almost 50%, right? So we see companies adopting AI, and that can change a lot. A long story short, we live in very interesting times. Let's dive in to the content. So first of all, what's the problem statement of the close? Where usually our controllers, accountants invest their time, and what takes the most of the time when it comes to accounting close? So first is spreadsheet reconciliations. We all know that Excel is our best friend, so it still takes a lot of time. Number two is email-based approvals. We cannot live without that. And a lot of sign-offs still live in the email. Number three is manual journal entries. I think many companies still have manual journal entries, but the more manual journal entries you have, the longer your close is. Number four, offline status tracking. Until somebody will ask what the status is, fairly often it's just underway. For global companies, intercompany matching can be quite a big challenge, especially in terms of consolidation and elimination process. So that's another very solid addition to our life cycle of the close. And lastly, we know that it's people, not systems, that hold the close together. And sometimes just one single person can be a point of failure or a bottleneck, in a good meaning, of course. But yeah, I think these are 6 reasons why the close takes as much as it takes. Let's see what it means, right? It actually means not necessarily a software gap. It means a decision architecture problem, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to better understand who does what, when, on which data, right? Rather than just implementing a tool without understanding that angle. Now let's think what it takes to make the close continuous, right? So first is connected systems and have our ERP, our subledgers, our bank systems and reporting talk to each other and promote automated balance validation. I think that usually gives quite an upgrade. Number two, automate with auditability, which means have right thing happen by default with evidence and approvals built in. Number three is exception-based management and having a dashboard, having so-called closed cockpit to help you get a heat map, what's going on with the close. Yeah, and lastly, controls should live in the system, not exactly as a task as part of period end. With that, it means what it means to us, right? The role of controller is changing, right? We should, in order to achieve continuous close, we should go from period end recovery to continuous validation. And controller's role will change a lot from that space. Ideally, controller should just own exceptions, governance, and insights, and less invest in actual period end recovery. If we would be in 2024, I would actually stop here. But we have a lot of development in 2026 because we get agentic AI, which is changing a lot in finance industry, right? So let's say 4 years ago, we would rely just on rules-based automation and just follow auto-match rules, right? But we would still draft processes by ourselves. We would still approve them, we would still post them manually or semi-manually, right? And we will perform the review. Now we have agentic execution, which gives us much more opportunities in terms of process optimization, right? I think what's important is agent can help us draft, agent can help us execute, but human will still be in the loop. For example, that's a good example of why considering AI actually can be quite safe if you have a mature process, right? You can draft your journal entry, controller can approve it, so it's still human in the loop. Agent can still post it after the approval, and then of course a human can still perform the review after agent posts and does some sanity checks. So yeah, I think nothing should be posted without review of controller, but agentic execution can help us a lot to smooth the processes. Lastly, an agent on a broken dependency map, it will be just a faster bottleneck. So decision architecture is something that still should go first. The next slide is, let's say you are at the stage of implementing a close optimization, or you are just thinking about it, right? This is a point of view how you can think about speed paired with control, and what kind of metrics you can use to actually prove that your automation is actually efficient and auditable. The best way to do that would be to pair efficiency that we gain as part of project initiative with control. For example, if you want to decrease close cycle time, and we know that we will if we will implement automation, right? How to measure that? To measure that, we should probably look at metric like post-close adjustments, how many we have, and maybe set up as a baseline. This is just for reference, right? But this gives you an idea of what you can utilize as just as a baseline. Number two, let's say we will aim to minimize reconciliation timeline by increasing automation rate. Then what we need to really monitor is high-risk balances. They need to continue to decrease. That will show us that, yes, we automated it and we continue to improve our balance sheet profile. Number three is reduced overtime. Yes, we can, of course, reduce overtime with our closed cycle, but we really need to be mindful of restatements, right? Because reducing the cycle also comes with the quality of the close. And lastly, our automation should go always through segregation of duties. For example, if we have straight-through rate of adjustments, i.e. automated postings without any approval, we need to very clearly understand why they happen, right? And we need to have a control around segregation of duties. Ideally, we should have zero segregation of duties breaks. This just gives a point of view how you can pair efficiency that you get from the project implementation with the actual control that can be auditable and easily presentable to the audit board. Here, just a sample business case, assuming that you will invest in the close optimization, and assuming that you find the right value proposition and you know what your sweet spot is, you can actually get a very nice return on investment, approximately $3 to $7 return per $1. This is, I would say, this is public business case information. So that's how any transformation project would be quantified. But again, this is just to show you some numbers that you can think of if you decide to make this investment. Yeah, so I think we are almost reaching the end of our presentation, and that we discussed many areas, right? We discussed the reasons why close takes a lot of time. We also discussed potential path to green. We had a chance to touch on AI, and we looked at controls that we can pair with the efficiency, so we can prove that it truly works and brings us to the next level. Now let's see where we can start, right? Let's assume you are just in the beginning of this journey, right? And you want to rethink your close. A good way to invest your first 90 days, if you decide to make this investment, is not to implement any software. It's actually map the decisions. I think we touched upon that in the very beginning when we looked at the root cause. The main problem of close delays and extended close life cycle is decision architecture, right? Who does what, when, and based on which data. So if you want to do your first step to close optimization and you don't know where to start, just start with mapping the decisions, right? Come up with the chart who decides what, who posts what, when, what are the dependencies, right? And then this dependency map will be your solid foundation to, first of all, understand where the bottleneck is, and then second, understand what can be your low-hanging fruit. Again, step 2 might be a stretch goal, but still you can achieve that in first 90 days. Let's say you mapped your decisions and roles, responsibilities based on the current state. You understood your bottlenecks and processes that can be improved. Then just take the low-hanging fruit. Automate your obvious wins. Maybe some system auto matches in Blackline or in Trintrack, right? If you have some mature processes, consider AI agents seriously, because if your process is mature, that can be a lifesaver when it comes to data preparation. And then quick wins will fund your confidence for the rest. And as you move along, then after stage 2, you can stop and see, hey, am I ready to do more transformation? And maybe you do. And then you can consider in phase 2, assign owners, automate the hardest parts. And as you automate, optimize, and stabilize, the role of controller will be fully redesigned and will shift to overseeing exceptions, looking at the governance and insights, and hopefully less being a bottleneck and just maintaining the close continuously. I think what's the point here is the order, right? Start mapping your decisions and invest in low-hanging fruits. That will already give you quite an upgrade if you haven't started that. As soon as you see this working, as soon as you see your full end-to-end picture, then you can decide what your investment is. We are almost at the top of our presentation, so let's see how we can rate our close path. So there's something fun at the very end. 1 out of 10 is coping. And maybe somebody can find yourself using Excel spreadsheets with close calendar. We believe it's still coping stage. We know that actually many companies still in that stage. As soon as you have your decision map done and available, that becomes much easier. And then, chasing approvals by emails is also a coping stage. We probably have better opportunities in the future to make it smoother. Then 5 out of 10 is spending, right? We can invest in software, but with a legacy dependency map, right? If we do that, yes, maybe we will be a little bit faster, but our dependency map will still be the same. So it might help, of course, but your dependency map goes first. And sometimes we know that people and organizations can invent and implement beautiful close calendars, right? Everybody loves it, but nobody might follow it because dependency map is not there. And I think 10 out of 10, rethink your decision architecture. Redesign all your decisions that you do as part of your close, automate them, and then redesign your role of the controller. That for sure would close again. Thank you very much. I think we are at the top of the hour. Thank you for paying attention, for waking up early. I'm happy to take any questions that we have. And yeah, these are some sources and thanks. Very much grateful for all the credits. Yeah, let's dive into questions. And yeah, Brittany, over to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Diana, for such an insightful presentation. As a reminder to the audience, you can still enter questions, and we'll go ahead and review a couple that came through. This one question asks, many finance teams are working to shorten the close while maintaining accuracy. In your experience, what's the first process organizations should rethink if they want to move toward a more continuous close?
That is a great question. Yeah, I think it might not be novel, but rethink your architecture decision map. I think that should be the first that you reconsider, because it gives you a heat map. It gives you your end-to-end view, and you can understand where you invest most of the time. That's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is you can actually look at this control/efficiency map. You can just look at control metrics. I'm pretty sure most of our organizations, they do validate these metrics, like how many post-close adjustments do I have? How many reconciliations have aged or high-risk balances, and do I increase with them? Do I do restatements? If so, how frequently? And then when it comes to segregation of duties, especially when we do auto postings, how many exceptions do I have? So yeah, I think it's better to start with your decision map for the close cycle. Who does what, when, maybe like from day -5 to up to, I don't know, day +8 or day +10, whatever close takes for your company. Yeah, and you can complement this with these just self-assessment questions. And then where you see the biggest spike, that's the process you can potentially drill down, understand the RCA, and invest. I hope that answers, but let me know if any follow-ups.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We have a couple more questions. This next question asks, where have you seen automation create the biggest improvement without sacrificing financial controls?
That's an amazing question. I think one of the greatest improvements that I have seen in the industry is probably number one is using your reconciliation software as best as you can, i.e. maximize it, and have your balance sheet reconciliation profile as detailed as possible when you perform your reconciliations. For example, if you use TrimTech or if you use Blackline, have reconcilers present the drill down in the most granular way that shows you the nature of the balances and also the risk profile. I think that's something that is already on top of your existing control environment, right? But you just expand your control environment. I think that's something that can actually give you some fruits, especially if you are looking to improve your balance sheet profile. Yeah, and I think what else? Yeah, I think automation helps a lot, especially predictable automation, if you have very complex processes with custom formulas. For example, yeah, what comes to mind is allocations and transfer pricing. If you have very solid profile, I think that's something that can really be considered for automation.
Great. Thank you so much, Diana. And we have one last question I think would be great to wrap up with. As controllers gain access to more real-time financial data, how should they shift their focus from simply completing the close to providing more strategic insight to the business?
How should they shift their focus from completing the close to providing more strategic insights to the business? Yeah, I think that's an amazing question. It probably goes back to this slide with controller's job profile, right? Let's assume we were able to achieve everything that we want, right? And we shifted from recovery, period and recovery, to continuous validation, right? I think where controllers should invest the most is own exceptions. So exceptions monitoring goes first, governance and insight. When it comes to business insights, it goes back to your job profile, and not just your job profile as a controller, but also the goals of organization, right? Let's say your company is more focused at this point on, I don't know, tightening the controls in a specific area. Then I think you should look at exceptions governance and gain insights in that specific area. And for example, if your company is growing, right, and your main profile is M&A, right, or your profile is expanding new products, then I think that's where finance can truly help business to see the patterns and identify insights, how to help the actual business units and product teams. I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, let me know if there's any follow-up.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Diana. That is all the time we have for questions, but thank you so much again for a wonderful presentation and for answering all of those. This does conclude this keynote, and I want to thank you again, Diana, and everyone else for joining us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be made available on demand following the event. Our next session will begin shortly at 11:35 Eastern, which will be a panel titled Driving Visibility and Control in Real-Time Finance Environments. Please remain on the stage and hit join when the next session begins. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you again, Diana.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing.